I watched the movie a while back. It's called Calling by Your Name, and it came through on my Instagram feed for some reason. The end of it, basically about a boy that fell in love on like a summer thing with a professor, and he just professor had to leave eventually. Um, it's I can see this now because Republicans have already shown you that the Trump administration, the election of them, was not about protecting children. It was simply about cruelty and creating a world for them and their privilege. And that was it. I will never see it as anything more than that. Even if the thing Trump does benefits us. But looking back at that movie, seeing that, I thought about how Dad and Moonlight and other films were really, they're really for people that are, gay or whatever, who never had that kind of a parent. It's just like Cider House Rules and all that kind of stuff. Of like, Antoine Mitchell, the movie with Denzel Washington, the other guy, and basically he was in the Navy and the guy didn't have a father, and Denzel was like a father for him. He was getting in fights and stuff. I know a guy that was like that guy. He was in the Navy and got drummed out. And so that movie was really about a certain kind of a friend they never had. You see, that's real life. A lot of people just never had that person to be like, hey man, it could be worse, and you're better for it, and you can help somebody and all that stuff. That movie, Call by Your Name, at the end the boy's crying because the professor's left, and the father's like, look, whatever you want to be with your life, I don't really care. He's like, you got your mind and your body, and as time goes on, your mind, your mind, soul, and body. It's like your mind and your soul, they start to fade, and your body gets to where no one even wants to look at you. He's like, what you feel in your heart, the sorrow, is something that you should be thankful for, because you're living, and this is life. You're experiencing something. You're experiencing love. You're experiencing a person that wasn't trying to hurt you. Because a lot of relationships, someone tries to hurt you. No. Sometimes things just don't work out. I think it was like they were close and then something got in the way and they ended up getting back together. Anyway, the point is, that movie, it's like these movies are made for like the prior generation. Just like The Duck Hunter, Pennsylvania. These boys in this steel town in Pennsylvania, they grew up and they went to Vietnam, and it changed them. It wasn't a really violent war movie. It was about how it changed them as people. And it's made for people who came back who weren't the same. And how you can't explain that to people who didn't go to war. Their biggest argument is what movie they're gonna see tonight, or what they're gonna eat. My thing is, I can say this because we know Trump's name's in the Epstein files. We know Trump's covering up. We know Trump had 1,000 FBI agents flag his name and erase his name. And we know now that Trump is putting military troops into all the major cities in America, blue cities and blue states. I don't want us to get off focus of what this moment really is, but I wanted to speak on that for a moment, of just the beauty of films like that for people who just never had that kind of parent. And it was like in Italy, so they were like Europeans or whatever. And then it was showing you how like the teenage dude, he was like kind of unsure, because they were like, his parents knew gay people. His parents weren't like homophobic. He didn't like them. And you're just showing you how, I don't know, how shaded and nuanced the human condition is, that he fell in love with somebody, but that person was never gonna like move to Italy. Move to Italy, I'm gonna get a house, and that wasn't gonna happen. And to have loved and lost. I mean, I just think that, because before we heard like, oh, they make this movie out here like sexualize young men and like make them gay and stuff. And it's like, your president just took Ghislaine Maxwell and put them in a minimum security prison. And she's lied to the feds before. She's trying to get some kind of a statement to, I guess, lessen the impact on Trump. We know she lied to the feds before. She's the history of it. And, like, I didn't think about it. She's probably going to get hurt in that jail. Like, even if she's moved to nicer prison, she will not, it's not going to be, like, relaxed. She's going to still looking over her shoulder. She's so much at what Trump and Pam Bondi and these clowns do, it doesn't work. You know, Pam Bondi was talking like, if you scratch a Tesla, we're putting you in prison. Stock price is still falling, baby. To where Elon Musk had to take his name off it, I think. So all the threats of federal charges and all that, you're not going to make me buy a Tesla, bitch. Or anybody else out here. You can do your threats. And to me, all the threats really say is what the FBI and what the Department of Injustice is really a protection racket. Meaning that if you ride with us, we'll help you. If you oppose our criminal actions, we'll step on you. We'll ruin you. And that's all it is. And that's from threatening people that would scratch Teslas or graffiti a Tesla to putting ICE in the streets of blue cities. You're not gonna make, you understand? Like, you're not, just like Pam Bondi is that. Let's not doing that didn't save Tesla. It isn't gonna make me buy a Tesla. Like, that's not gonna help you. And that's why, Journey Ernst in Iowa, I understand now, is not running. After they asked her about Social Security, she's like, we're all gonna die. Yeah. This is the way they think. I said it before. Republicans, to me, are like a gang. They're like a gang. And there's people in a gang, they may know the overall mission, but they're different kind of characters. Joni Ernst is an enforcer. You understand? She's a thug. What I mean by that is there's people in a gang that are like, all right, we want to do this. We want to do the robbery. We got to be careful how we do it. We won't get arrested. But then there's people in the gang that are like, yeah, we'll just go up in there and kill everybody. That's how she is. It's like, they made a commercial, a video laughing about it. Yeah. That's how gang members are. It's a joke. You're talking about people's human lives. Some of people's kids and families who need Social Security to survive. And you're laughing about it. Yeah. This is demonic. This is how this is their nature. And seeing things like that, or that guy King in Iowa years ago saying that what's wrong with white supremacy. I mean, this is how they are. And they're like, where's the racism? Keep watching. Stay tuned. Because they're not hiding it now. Yeah, where's the racism? He said, what's wrong with white supremacy? Yeah, he said that. I just feel, as I said, I feel a bit of a freedom in what Trump is doing. I'm a little different from people, a little different in that what Trump has done and is doing is radicalizing a lot of people who ordinarily would probably agree with a lot of what he says. But because his actions are so reckless and so harmful, they can't. Because he's just a liar. And he just lie from moment to moment to moment, and they don't stand on nothing. They just lie. And it really is as though we're really in a dystopia. We're getting rid of FEMA. We're getting rid of Weather Service. We're getting rid of, we're raising the things you need to do to have a federal state of emergency, federal disaster. People don't know that. You're telling states if you don't buck dance behind Israel, we're going to withhold federal funds. Well, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Which is what? That's why people say, like, don't be so political. Everything's political. If the president is saying that he can withhold federal funds because we disagree, say Pennsylvania disagree with what Israel's doing, say a lot of people here disagree with him, that's political. That's politics. So being non-political doesn't benefit me or anybody else, for that matter. We're at war. When you're putting troops on the streets of a city because you want to, you're threatening to arrest the governor, that's war. There's no coming back from this. And to know that we're just not pretending anymore, to me, for me, it's a little bit liberating, because it doesn't matter anymore. Like, it doesn't matter to me what white people think. It doesn't matter to me what anyone thinks about me, because you're devils, and you don't even believe in what the Constitution says. Because if you did, you wouldn't agree with this stuff, but you don't, because the Constitution is for white people. All this stuff is for you. You're fighting for privilege. You're not fighting for a free society. You never were. You never were. And that's why the Epstein thing to me is so odd, because so having sex with kids is wrong, right? Sex with kids is wrong, okay. But when Trump was talking about kids having sex changes at high schools for months, you were okay with that. You know, you wouldn't vote for that. That was fine, right? And talking about babies, kids, preschoolers having litter boxes. You voted for that. There's so much other crap he said that you were okay with. So I'm really confused. As I always say for white people, what's another lie? What's another murder? What's another war? You've accepted so many lies already that I guess it's like being at war and looking at your enemy, and you're like, all right, he's gonna go to this mountaintop, he's gonna shoot artillery down, and then you look back like a day later and he hasn't even crossed the river. He's like, I don't want to get wet. Like, that's how this is to me. You're like, I was expecting him to be up there shooting artillery and kill 10% of my men, but instead he doesn't even want to get in the water. I'll never take this white man serious again. And to me, for me, it's really about knowing we stand it as people, as world citizens, as individuals in a society. It's about embracing who you are, and also acknowledging how far you want to go, and what's worth protecting. Thanks for listening.